Madison final start list. We have a big lineup: Italy, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, Japan, New Zealand and Portugal.
So the partner, as the race gets underway with one rider in the peloton, their partners now, with the gun fired, are allowed to come off the fence in the back straight, some choosing to come off straight away. And that's what they'll be doing now, fighting for position as they come around to get the bell for the first time. New Zealand going really early. That's what you have to do in the Madison. Aaron Gate down the back straight, absolutely trying to look for his partner, Campbell Stewart. And there's the change. Stewart comes in, looks over the shoulder, see who's coming. Yuri Harvick from the Netherlands trying to come up around the outside.
Wow,
big hand change from Harvick, off and skip, and he flies over the top of Campbell Stewart. 5 points will go to the Netherlands. Good way to start proceedings for them, just in front of New Zealand.
The combination of Hesters and De Wilde, they are in second wheel now, coming in for the sprint as the Germans come around the top. So Kluger taking on Belgium.
And Japan 3 wide as well, but Roger Kluger it is that gets to the final bend first, and he should have enough speed and momentum to come up with the 5 points. Belgium holding on for 3 points. They just did a change slightly too late, Belgium, to maximise the time advantage to get the sprint points there. Kluger using his experience to make sure they got the maximum 5 points on that sprint. That's 2 intermediate sprints down. Yuri Harvick from the Netherlands coming up around the outside. Germany. So 2 of the teams that are really fighting for the overall win here. They'll get the bell the next time around. So Harvick has gone really early for this sprint. He'll be searching for Van Skip. He's about to come into view right now. And there's the change with 1 lap to go. So Germany and the Netherlands both changing at exactly the same time. Van Skip versus Reinhardt as they go down the back straight. And the big Dutchman really putting the power through the pedals. Reinhardt doing everything he can to try and get over the top. If you're going to put in a big effort, it might as well be for the win. But that's what Van Skip comes away with. 5 points for the Netherlands. Germany with 3. Belgium just picking up 3rd place there, 2 points for them. So another good sprint from the New Zealand team. And once again, Germany keeping themselves right up in contention. They're not winning all the sprints, but gee, they're very consistent. As soon as the Dutch went, you could see the Germans, that the gap has opened up because they did get them by surprise slightly. But as soon as they were able to react, Germany straight after them. And that has caused a lot of carnage behind. Everyone desperately sprinting now to try and catch up to these 2 very strong teams.
Yeah, these 2 are very strong. I would not be letting those 2 get away. They've got to close this gap and close it quickly.
On to the next sprint lap at 71 laps to go. And the win will go to the Netherlands as they go down the back straight. We can call this one nice and early because Germany haven't got up to the Dutch just yet. Change from Van Skip and Harvick as they go across the line. There's 5 points for them. Germany will extend their overall lead though with getting 3 points. And where's New Zealand? They've been caught behind in the peloton and the gap is starting to open up.
Yep, this is a big mistake from the Kiwi boys. They're going to have to do something quick, and it looks like Campbell is sensing this. All right, we're going back to...
They were just on the move then. Now, just as we switched to camera shots there, New Zealanders have started chasing in front of the peloton. They have got together out in front, so now we've got 2 super strong teams working together against the entire field to try and gain a lap and get the 20 points that are on offer for doing so. New Zealand desperately scrambling at the front of the peloton to try and bring this back. So you can see spruing out all over the track now, but these are the leaders in the race, the leaders on the track at the moment. Germany swing up and let the Netherlands through. Well, up to this point, it was a pretty even contest between Germany and New Zealand, but the Germans are absolutely in control. Yuri Harvick just pops up around the outside to pick up the 5 points. Doesn't matter too much to Roger Kluger. And that's the front of the peloton going down the back of the peloton going down the back straight. As they come across the finish line, there's the New Zealanders. They are the big losers from that lap gain because the German team and the Dutch team have just latched onto the back of the peloton, so they have been declared a lap gain, so they'll both get 20 points added to their tally. And the Netherlands will jump over the top of New Zealand and go into the silver medal spot. Germany, they have just opened up a massive points advantage. They are coming around to get 3 laps to go. There's a mad scramble behind Italy, New Zealand, Belgium, Germany, and also the Netherlands. So getting really messy down here towards the end. 2 laps to go. Final sprint about to happen. Double points, 10 laps on offer. It's not going to matter to Germany. They have absolutely masterclassed this race. They will come away with the win. So fantastic performance for Germany, Netherlands and New Zealand. Gold, silver and bronze was predetermined before they came into that final sprint. It was such a mad scramble. The entire race is blown to pieces. But the best on the day, Team Germany. Roger Kluge and Theo Reinhardt. That was a masterclass.
Wow.
The race for 7th to 12th place in the women's Keirin.
This journey will be slowly getting them up to pace, then they'll drop them off.
So quick. That's the speed there, 50. That looks slow. But if you go out onto your road bike, cruise around the streets, just try and ride down the road at 50 kilometres per hour without a tailwind. They're travelling along, even though it's slow for them, at a pretty decent speed. Emma Hinze decides to go round to the front.
She worked pretty hard to get to the front there, so she's gone a long way out. She's got about 2.5 laps to go. We'll come around for the bell.
Rio Otto it is that's coming up around the outside. So Hinze now on the inside, accelerating in the saddle, holding off Ota. Bayona from Colombia in the blue, trying to come 3 wide around the outside. Zhang still tucked in second position. Bayona trying to come over the top of her, but Emma Hinze will hold on to get 7th place in the women's Keirin. And Zhang dragged into 2nd place perhaps, or at least 3rd, as Bayona has that extra height coming down the finishing straight, so she does get 2nd. Finucane finishing off really well. Now it's time for the big stuff, the race for the medals. Three laps to go now. The bike comes off the track and Sato leads the way. You can see the gaps opening up a little bit just to give themselves a bit of room to move. And the first to do that is Mathilde Gros. Elise Andrews up onto her wheel.
Yeah, Mathilde Gros taking the initiative, going to the front. She knows she's got the pace, she knows she's got the legs, so she doesn't want to get stuck in the mix. Sato on her wheel trying to come out as Elise Andrews is fighting around the outside.
They come around to get the bell this time, and it's the world sprint champion from France. Comes to the line, 1 lap to go in the front. Andrews fighting hard in the wind on the outside. Sato, she's in the slipstream of Gros. Now she's got some room to move. Can Sato come around the world sprint champion? Oh, she's fighting hard into the finishing straight, and she's going to be able to do it. Sato gets the win here in Jakarta. Fantastic performance from her. From the endurance event to the pure sprinters, the speedsters of the velodrome. And we're into the final round, the bronze medal race between Yu Zhu and Mikhail Yakovlev.
I'd say Yakovlev was the one to beat, but he is young as well. He's relatively new to sprinting. He's popped up in the last few years. So Zhao is stalking from behind, smaller rider, moving up the track. Mikhail looking over his shoulder. They've both got some height here, so starting to wind up the pace. So this is the situation he was in the round before. So he's going to make sure he's not going to get caught napping. Zhao looks like he is building pace.
Lap and a half to go now. Yakovlev in control in front. You can see just the urgency of putting a little bit more pressure through the pedals and a big gap being given. Zhao has given way too much with 1 lap to go. He's the 2nd fastest man in qualifying, Yakovlev. You don't allow a guy that fast to have so many metres advantage, because this is what happens. He's going to comfortably get himself the first win in the best of 3, and that was a tactical failure by Yu Zhao. And it's do or die now for Yu Zhu from China. 1 down in the best of 3 up against Mikhail Yakovlev. This is for the bronze medal in Jakarta, Indonesia. That'll be a sensational performance. The 2nd fastest rider in qualifying made a mistake in the semi-finals, but he seemed to rectify that in the first race here up against Zhu. letting us think that perhaps he would like Yakovlev to go back to the front again. That didn't work for Zhao last time. I think he's better off trying to lead this one out and forcing Yakovlev to go wide and try and come from behind.
Ooh, Mikhail's gone to the front.
Good move by Yakovlev. That's how he won the first race. So I think Zhao may have made an error there. Let's see if he can rectify it. Staying a little bit closer to the back wheel of Yakovlev this time. Bell, as they come around the final bend. And is it one lap from a bronze medal for Yakovlev, or can Zhao take this to a decider? Much closer to the back wheel of the big man now. Zhao into the back straight. Big slipstream to be into as well. He's so tall, 6'6", into the final bend, but he's got the power, he's got the strength, and he will come through to get the win. 2 straight, and that gives Yakovlev the bronze medal here in the Track Nations Cup.
Yeah, that was great. That was awesome. Great from both riders. I think Zhao, he looked like he was happy to run at Yakovlev. He was into that slipstream, tried to have a run up, but just didn't quite have enough punch to get there on the line.
On to the race for gold and silver. Harry Levrason is the world champion. We saw him in this situation yesterday. He was the Keirin world champion, came into the final and won. For Keirin, can he do the same and back it up as the sprint world champion now? He's 2 races away from it. Slow speed to complete the first lap. 250 metres of the velodrome, pretty much the standard now for international competition like this. Fantastic track this. All of the riders have been talking about just how smooth it is. So Levrason in second position, just weaving up and down the track, and all he's trying to do is intimidate Otto a little bit to try and force him into going early and wasting energy. Levrason, you can see, not giving as much distance as we saw in the previous race from Zhao. So he's still in the slipstream. He's the fastest man on the planet, and he's coming up around the outside, and a bit of a touch of shoulders as they went into the final bend. They have to keep the pressure on. Oh, that was really close.
Wow.
Levrason gets there and wins the heat. But I think if he didn't, they would have relegated Otto.
Yes.
For sure. You're not allowed to come out of the red line, and it was the touch of shoulders and the balance, the losing a bit of balance through that bend that forced Otto up.
Yep.
But Levrason was able to be fast enough, strong enough to come around and still get the win. The race for gold, and this is the man that must win this race to take it to a decider. Problem he has to beat the world champion to do that. So Harry Levrason.
I would say that the last round was the most he's been challenged, though. I think Kai Otto really put up a fight until he came out of that sprint lane. So if he just held it down, it would have been really close, I think. I think Kai has, really had a good crack. Levrason, 10-time world champion. He's won the sprint 3 times at the World Championships and the Olympic champion in the sprint. So not his first rodeo. He's leading from the front, keeping his eye closely on Kai Otto.
Very slow, almost coming to a stop down the back straight, and Otto just skipping the back wheel, trying to keep the pedals horizontal to the track in case Harry Levrason did actually come to a stop.
Yep.
Give himself some good balance.
So yes, you're allowed to track stand, but not for too long. So they're continuing, starting to build the pace up. It's 2 laps to go. Levrason on the front.
High on the track in second position. Kai Otto. A lap and a half to go now. And starting to pump the handlebars. He comes up around the outside. Harry Levrason quite happy, content to let the Japanese rider go to the front position. 1 lap to go now. He's in the slipstream, the world champion. Levrason coming to the back wheel of Otto down the back straight and squeezes up around the outside. Otto on the inside trying to hold him off, but you can't hold off the world champ. Harry Levrason sails past the rower to get the win. 2 straight and a gold medal here in Jakarta. So the women's Omnium scratch race, the first thing to get things underway in this afternoon program, the final day of competition here at the UCI Track Nations Cup.
Yep, so 30 laps for the women's scratch race today. So this is the first person across the line wins. So as Scott said, if there's a lap taken, that can change the game a little bit, but it's usually the easiest to follow this race. First across the line wins.
26 laps to go now. The women's scratch race, the first discipline within the 4-event race that is known as the Omnium. After this, they'll have the tempo race, then the elimination, and then finishing up with the points race at the very end. So the hardest of all disciplines is what they finish. It really does make it difficult, and that was what changed the format or the overall standing so much in the men's race yesterday.
Yeah, so the pace is not very high at the moment. Everybody is quite content to roll around. They're all taking turns, swinging up, keeping an eye out. So this looks like most of them are interested in a bunch kick. We might start to see it start to heat up. New Zealander Ali Wollaston, she just swung up to the top. She won the elimination on night 1 as well as the team pursuit, so she is on some hot form.
High on the track, up on the outside from Canada, that's Collier. And you can see them really bunched up now. They'll come around to get 7 laps to go. They should be all as fresh as they possibly can be.
Yeah, nobody wants to go to the front. Everybody is waiting for this sprint. No one wants to make that first move. So, as you say, it's been a relatively easy bike race so far, so it's going to be hot and fast. And once the sprint drops down to the bottom of the track, it's going to be really hard to move up. So that's why everybody's fighting, trying to stay towards the front. You can see the swarm. Anita von Stenborg, she's up the top, ready to pounce.
She's right at the very top, isn't she, the Norwegian? Stenberg, Wollaston from New Zealand in the black colours now up at the top of the fence. They'll come around to get 5 laps to go, almost into the final kilometre now. And while they're saving energy for this final sprint, if you get boxed in the middle of the peloton there and cannot get yourself out, you need to get some room. You may blow your chances of getting a high result.
That's it. So when they come around, it'll be 4 laps to go. Olivia Belisida, she's happy to sit on the front. Alex Manley in second wheel. We have Emily de Dieriksen starting to come around.
And 4 laps to go now into the final kilometre. You can see they're still bunched up, tightly packed, but the pace really starting to pick up. Caponi from France on the outside, so 3 abreast as they go down the back straight. They'll come around to get 3 laps to go now. And it's the former world road race champion from Denmark, Dieriksen, on the front. And Stenberg now goes to the front as well.
Clara Caponi on her hip. It's starting to heat up. In this type of move, you just want to be near the front, because if you get too far back, you're not going to get many points. So everybody's fighting. It's better to be closer to the front if you can. 2 laps to go. Nita von Stenberg still in the front. Nia Evans coming around the outside.
Big move from Nia Evans from Great Britain now. She goes down the back straight. The points race world champion, Ali Wollaston's trying to come up around her as well. Bell this time, 40 points on offer for the win of the scratch race. And Wollaston is going to match Nia Evans as they go into the back straight. Stenberg in 3rd position. Fighting on the inside is Evans trying to hold on to a top position, and there's been a nasty crash. Several riders going down. Wollaston it will be that gets the win, just ahead of Nia Evans, who really started that sprint very early indeed. Stenberg was also up there. De Dieriksen from Denmark in the mix, but we look with concern to see who were the riders that touched down in that final lap. Last couple of laps really were a great fight though. Wollaston clearly out in front. Super fast ride from Ali from New Zealand. You can see the crash at the top of the screen has already happened as they've come across the finish line. Next coming up onto the program is the 2nd discipline in the women's Omnium, and that's the tempo race. Fairly new race within the modern Omnium format, the tempo. And as they're just cruising themselves around.
It's like Mia Griffin from Ireland is wanting to head off the front. So as we said, she's welcome to do that. She won't get any points for a few laps. But it can be a good move if she can get a big enough gap on the peloton.
And there's no point in wasting time now. She might as well just dig really deep and try and get to the back of the peloton. Yep. So the first of the points laps. From now on, every lap, 1 point awarded to the first rider across the line. Well, Evans comes around now, and they'll be getting 17 laps to go. And Evans really accelerating because they have brought back in Mia Griffin. So now the peloton can start chasing the points again. Williams will come back into the race, but it's Nia Evans that crosses the line.
And here comes Clara Caponi. So she's gone hard over the top. She's got a bit of a gap. I reckon she's going to continue on with this. She's just got 1 point now. Oh, she has got a big gap. Silvia Zanardi from Italy just swung up the track. So great move by Clara Caponi. If she can go and get another point, this will be great for her. Anita von Stenberg has actually noticed the issue here. So she's from Norway. If she can get across to Clara and work together, then they might get a lap on the field.
Caponi picks up 2 points, and Stenberg now bridging the gap out there to the French rider from Caponi. Bridges it, goes up beside it, and around the outside. So 1 point now to Stenberg. That's her first point, one of the pre-race favourites.
And Ali Wollaston is coming across, so she wants to be part of this. This is a very strong group of riders. If they can get together and work hard, take their turns. Sometimes it can work together, sometimes it doesn't quite work because everybody is hungry for these points.
But with the lap gain, those 4 riders will get an extra 20 points added to their tally. So that will guarantee that those 4 are going to finish in the top 4 and maximise their points advantage.
Just depends how close of whether you've been considered the lap. So Wollaston has been given the lap, so she'll jump on the back.
And while Caponi leads the way on 24 points, that's an unbeatable advantage now for Caponi. So she will win the tempo race.
1 lap to go.
And on the final lap, there's another point. The Dane picks up that 1 point, the former world road champion to Dirksen. And she should be able to have enough here to hold on for the final sprint as well. And it'll be a mad dash between everybody else that's on equal points to try and get in front to maximise their position across the line. So Emily comes through to pick up the final 1 point, and
Malaysia in second.
so Caponi will be the winner. So Clara Caponi, as a part of that quartet that took a lap on the field, there she is. Fantastic ride by her. So maximising the points, getting 40 for the end of the tempo race for her to add to her overall classification position. On to the elimination race now for the women's Omnium, the 3rd discipline within the 4-discipline Omnium series. So the riders at the back of the field here, desperately trying to come through. Wayne Pomario with the official starter's pistol. Race is now underway. And a real fight for position early on. No one really wanting to waste too much energy right on the front. And if they do slow down, that's when the riders from behind can then pop up over the top. So the first of our elimination races. Stenberg goes to the front for Norway, but it's the back of the peloton that we need to focus on. And it's the Mexican rider that's right down towards the back that's in the danger zone for now. And you can see how much they are bunched up at the front because it doesn't matter too much to them. It's the back where the elimination is going to happen, and it is Mexico. So Velasco is the first rider to be eliminated, getting the minimum points from this race. The downside of the elimination is if you want maximum points, 40 for the win, you've got to go all the way through the race and then back up for the points race immediately after. That's the disadvantage of being the winner in this.
That's it. And it gets harder and harder. So right now it's pretty fast paced, but as the riders get more and more fatigued, the pace will start to drop. So we are looking at the back here, remember. So that's Ying Ting Huang, who's gone around the outside, so she'll be safe. But it looks like the rider from Indonesia.
Ziwing Li really has been dicing with the devil here.
She has.
He's looking to do it again, and it'll be with Alex Manley. Nia Evans, third from the back, out of the saddle. Li Wei Zi down the bottom in the red. Manley on the outside for Australia. Evans in front of her. And a little acceleration. And, oh, she's
all right. It's Olivia Balasaita.
Wow. She enjoys tugging at the heartstrings here, Li Wei Zi. So Noah Way's the last rider across the line eliminated. If you go down to the blue band to try and improve your position underneath, commissaires right there at the finish line can see that, and they'll make sure that you are relegated.
This is risky for Alex Manley. She's stuck on the inside.
Wollaston beside her. Nia Evans with a little bit of fight to do. It's going to be a struggle for Evans. So Nia Evans the next to go. Wow. She spent a lot of time on the front of the group setting the pace, so maybe wasting a bit too much energy. She did have a crash in the Madison yesterday also.
All right, so down to 4.
Caponi, Zanardi, Wollaston and Manley. Manley at the back now for Australia. Crashed in the scratch race. She's down in the overall standings.
Go. She's lifting up the pace. Caponi increases at the front.
Wollaston trying to hold her off, and it looks like Manley giving up a little bit. You can see not trying to fight round the outside. So Alex Manley, the next one to go, down to 3. Caponi, Zanardi and the overall classification leader in Ali Wollaston.
Does Zanardi have the time to back out and go around the outside? She's got to be careful because Zanardi's going to do the same to her.
Well, down the back straight, 3 wide. Capone on the inside, and Wollaston loses out. She was trying to play the tactics, but Zanardi having none of it. Up around the outside, and she's coming back though, Wollaston. Wow. Oh, wow, the strength of the New Zealander. I thought it was all over for her, but she has fought on, and it's Zanardi that misses out. Wow, that was an extraordinary comeback in such a short period of time around the track. So Zanardi is the next to go. Wollaston, she won the elimination competition on the first night. So we've seen her do this before. Capone goes into the final bend out in front, but it's Wollaston blasting around the outside. And Ali Wollaston, I think she was just playing with everyone. That was sensational riding from the New Zealander.
For anyone else, you would not have made it through that elimination, but because of her legs, she is obviously on fire. So she made a few technical errors there, definitely made some errors, but she managed to recover because her legs are just too good.
Women's Omnium points race, the final discipline within the Omnium series, and this is the toughest. We've seen some fantastic races so far to get to this point, and Ali Wollaston leads the way on 118 points. Nice handy 10-point advantage over Clara Capone, Nia Evans. Then they will be given the start gun to signify the start of the final race of the Women's Omnium and the final race of competition here in the UCI Track Nations Cup, Jakarta, Indonesia, thanks to Tissot Timing. They do a wonderful job for the UCI. And we now are underway. 80 laps of the track, sprint every 10. 5 laps down and no increase in pace just yet. That's about to change, though, as we get closer to the first of the intermediate sprints. There's the overall leader, Ali Wollaston. Sprint this time, and it's Rijmakers, Marit Rijmakers from the Netherlands. She's been on the front now for a lap and a half, so it's a long sprint for her. Ali Wollaston just rolls up around the outside. She has Capone on the wheel, but Wollaston, she's super quick, and Capone is as well. Ooh, she had to fight for that one. I think Ali thought she was going to just roll across the line to get the win, but Capone really pushing it down the finishing straight.
So 5 points to Wollaston and Capone in second. So they went pretty deep. So now their job is to look around and make sure that anybody else who's within reach of them doesn't sneak off the front.
Good to see Capone really push Ali then as well. While there is a bit of a gap and the overall lead has been extended slightly for Ali getting that sprint win, but Capone isn't going to let her have it easily. She really wants to push her all the way through. As they all bunch up, Alex Manley goes through and underneath. So she wants to try and get some points in this next one. Constantly looking over her shoulder. Stenberg, she wants some points. She's moved right up to 4th place. And here we go. She's going into this sprint now on the front, the Norwegian. She missed out in the elimination, the first one to be eliminated, and she's moving herself back up into contention. And it's first and second going for this as well. 3 around the outside into the final bend. Wollaston, the fastest of them. Stenberg, importantly, holds on for second position, with Clara Capone getting the 2 points for third.
And Nia Evans as well. They were waiting for it. They cannot afford to let her get away. If she gets away and gets that 20 points, they're in big trouble.
Well, Clara Capone, she was straight onto the wheel. Nia Evans there as well. Now, the rider that we can see that's nowhere to be seen, that's the black colours of New Zealand. Ali Wollaston, where is she?
Oh.
Next rider coming through. There she is, the current overall leader at the front of the peloton. She has completely missed this move. 17 laps to go. The strongest riders in the race off the front trying to stop Ali Wollaston from getting this gold medal.
Ali just has to go head down, just go for it, because she cannot afford to wait. And that's exactly what she's doing. Good on her.
Forget about the fact that it's 15 laps to go. She must reach these riders in front, and that's what she's about to achieve. That took a lot out of her.
That did.
Forget about going for the next sprint. Just sit there and recover, and you can still hold on to that gold medal. Famous last words. Let's see what happens. Coming around to get 2 laps to go now. And from here, she should be able to hold on. But when we flick back to the peloton, you'll see that it's Stenberg that has gone on the attack. Zanardi right on her wheel, and it's gone a little bit too early. She was hoping to get a gap before that final sprint. It's not the case. They'll come around to get the bell. Amelie de Derksen, Ali Wollaston in second position, Stenberg high on the outside. So Huang comes through to get the bell first. She might get caught, actually. I'm pretty sure she will as they go down the back straight. So 10 points on offer for this final sprint.
If the Derksons wins, then she'll get the bronze medal.
This is huge. Wollaston from New Zealand wants to finish off on a high as she comes up around the outside. Huang might just miss out. She does. Wollaston gets there. She gets the 10 points. Huang, she finishes in second to get 6. What a way to finish off. Leader throughout the entire Omnium series. Had to dig deep when it was called, when the favourites had gone out in front. She bridged the gap and then won that final sprint. Fantastic riding from the New Zealander.
That is unbelievable.
Come on, rock with it, come on, wiggle with it.